So I am league starting Cold Dot for Mirage League in PoE 1, and I am not a huge fan of Wintertide brand. I am not a huge fan of the new trap that they're introducing. I'm just going to go with the classic Gripping Frost and Vortex. And the reason is that GGG are introducing a new Transfigured Vortex, or not Vortex, they're introducing a new Transfigured Gripping Frost. That's, in my opinion, just going to be straight up better for Cold Dot. There's a few caveats to that, but yeah, it's just gonna do more damage on a Cold Dot build. And this is a starter PvP. I'm not planning to go all the way to 100, but it's just kind of to sort of get the idea of what I'm doing. But usually, to kind of get more damage out of Cold Dot, you want to go Pain Attunement. And normally what people do for Pain Attunement is they go ES, obviously, they go Coruscating Elixir and Balbala, and they manage to sustain Coruscating Elixir, and that's their way to not get chaos damage, to not bypass Energy Shield. But this is not good for hardcore, and I'm playing hardcore. So the reason is that Coruscating Elixir, from what I understand, you still need to manually activate it every time you enter a new instance, and especially in Mirage, there's going to be many instances that we're going to be entering, at least it seems like. So, and if you just forget to click once and you receive any sort of chaos damage, you just die. That's not a really good arrangement for hardcore. So I was sort of poring over the ways to go low life that's going to be more hardcore viable. And there are a few different ways to go low life. First of all, there is Chevrons. And Chevron's wrappings is just a terrible item these days. The amount of energy shield on it is just nothing compared to a just normal rare energy shield chest. So you're losing way too much for doing this, and especially in hardcore, this is just not worth it. Another way is Petrified Blood, and I also POB'd it, I also looked into it. Again, this is just not good, because Petrified Blood, the way it works is it halves your HP, basically. It doesn't let you recover over half of your HP. But then splits the incoming damage into hit-based part and a dot. Well, it's a lot to go over. TLDR, it just exacerbates the existing issues of sort of topside casters, in that it decreases your physical max hit, and it requires really high life sustain, which the topside build just have a hard time getting. Like, you just end up investing way too much into just trying to get more life and more sustain, and this just ends up not really working. So what are the other options? Well, there's Coward's Legacy. Coward's Legacy is a good option. It's a much more functional build than the previous two, but it's very expensive. The reason is, well, there's Coward's Legacy. You count on the life when you're cursed with vulnerability, and then it also makes you cursed with vulnerability with 50% increased effect of curses. But, well, just by itself that's terrible, but we can mitigate it with unaffected by vulnerability while affected by determination. Watch your eye. Well, that's great, but now we have to use determination, which means that it makes sense to go left side and obviously use armor. And when you're using armor, it kind of makes sense to go Aegis Aurora. And when you're using Aegis, it kind of makes sense to go Melting. And so I put all of this together, and it's a really tanky build. Like, very tanky. This is by the way, not a real Fizz max hit on it, because PoB doesn't acknowledge the unaffected by invulnerability, so I have to take off Coward's Legacy to see its real Fizz max hit. But it's very tanky. It's also very expensive, because I have to deal with melding. Melding, and all of the penalties that it applies. So the quality of rare items required for this build is pretty high. You basically just need all those suffixes and need good prefixes, and it's a very expensive build. It ends up being very expensive. So what's other options? Another option is to use a shield, new Foulborn Shield, Ashes Visage. And that Ashes Visage gives you the chaos damage taken doesn't bypass energy shield while not on low mana. Now, just by itself, it's also not a consistent way to be on low life, because yes, even if you manage to just put everything on life tap, or by whatever means make it so you're never spending any mana, there's still stuff in the game that drains your mana. There's still rare mobs with the mana drain circle. There's still like just mana drain debuffs on the ground. And if your mana drains below 50% and you receive any sort of chaos damage, you die. Again, not a great arrangement for hardcore. But there is a way around it. If you take Blood Magic, it removes mana. Just completely removes the concept of mana from your character. And if there is no mana, you cannot be on low mana. And this becomes consistent. Of course, you can see traveling from up there to down to Blood Magic requires quite a lot. So, is there another way to do it? Well, yes, there is Malachi Simula. Malachi Simula is also a terrible item. It's the same problem as Chevrons. You're just losing your helmet, basically, and that's way too much energy shield to lose. You end up being less tanky and not doing much more damage. So I think that I am going to go for this. And the reason I'm choosing this over Coward's Legacy version is that this is just much cheaper. The only expensive thing here is Unnatural Instinct. So I'm just going to put my good drops early on into getting Unnatural Instinct. And otherwise, there is nowhere near as much pressure on rare items with this. There is no expensive uniques. These two should be decently cheap. This one is common, this one no one uses. And increased cold light of meaning also, basically no one uses that. So yeah, and it's also very tanky. Not as tanky as Coward's Legacy, but also decently tanky. Got full block. This is proper block, not glancing blows. Got the biggest problem with this is its ES recovery, because I'm not using a proper shield. This is not Aegis Aurora or a shield with ES gain of block, so I have to settle for a little bit of ES regen, and yeah, that's the main weakness. But I'm still going to try this out. We'll see how it goes, and I'll probably make a proper video on this once I have this set up and going. But yeah, just wanted to share my sort of musings and POBing, and I guess good luck on the league start.